It's not very long before you want to save your settings, or you have favorite frequencies in different bands, and so you want to be able to recall that information, plus what filtering, what other options that you want to attach to that memory. I remember years ago when the radio started to have memories, it was handy. But over time, especially if you had room for lots of memories, it became quite disorganized after a while, because you add it, and then maybe weeks later you add another one, totally different. So it's basically everywhere in the memory bank, and you have to kind of scan through it or try to remember it or write it down somewhere where it is. The time you spend doing that is just probably just as quick to re-enter everything again. Now there's a few options here that eliminates that. Let me just go to menu and hit memory. Okay. As you can see, I have some already programmed, but before I do that, I'm just going to exit out. Let's say this is the frequency that I want to save. Right, oops, there we go. And I want CW. Let me just get my, here it is. Let me just go back, and I want to hit CW. Let's say I want filter 2 or whatever other setting. Once it's set up the way you like it, you can go to menu, scroll down to the channel you want to save. Let's say this is the one I want right here. Memory right. Yes. Let's say, oh, I made a mistake. I don't want it there. Again, you can hold it and memory clear. You can even add a name to it. Yes. It's handy, though I've taken a different approach. First of all, about a year ago, I did buy a program called SDR Connect. It's a commercial program. Let me see what the current price is on that right now. SDR Connect. Okay, and okay, I purchased it. It's not showing me the price now. Okay, I imagine it's probably over $60. He has one for the iPhone and for the iPad. Unfortunately, it uses Wi-Fi, and so like the ICOM 705 has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So any radio with that. But then again, you would probably want to use your lap computer, a large monitor, whatever. The iPad and the iPhone probably be handy if you're camping, RV, doing remote HF radio. Again, you have to pay for each one of those programs around $50, $60. It'd probably be the only commercial program I would buy. But anyways, it was a year ago. There is a few other options. Another program called, I think, WF View, Wi-Fi View. It's free. It does pretty well similar things. Doesn't have everything. I would say the SDR controls still is ahead of the Wi-Fi View, which is free. But for basic things, it works. And what what I like about the SDR control, which the Wi-Fi View doesn't have yet, and that's access to the memories of this radio. I created a video and it will show you how to make the changes using the SDR control and how I export it to my database FileMaker, where I can make massive changes very quickly through scripting or physically re-entering things or making minor changes. I've been using that for the past few days. It works great. I've also been experimenting with some antennas. I have the Silver Bullet, and I also have the Tri-Mag mount with a 17-foot whip. This unit, of course, has an SWR meter and a tuner. There's a couple of things that some people have complained about the SWR meter. They felt they couldn't determine, where the center of their setting is, just where it is. I came up with a little, I don't call it a trick, but a method that allows me to tune using milliwatts power initially, making the adjustments, bringing in within the range that I want, and then gradually increase the power. And it gives me the pattern as to whether my connection, my antenna is a little bit on the long side or on the short side. I'll have a video showing that too. So, no need to get another SWR meter, which one person apparently decided to do. But anyways, let me show you the next step. Oh, before I go on, there was one more thing I was going to show. This probably handy little tidbit, if you want to call it, for people who have, they're using a lot of digital communications, whether it be RIDI, CW, FT8, all the digital communication that's becoming quite popular. And they switch from one to the other really quick. And so it's easy to forget to make one setting. The simplest way would be to go to menu. Let's say I got this set up for CW, but you can do the same thing with all the other modes. And I go to settings, SD card, and hit save settings. New file. You can call this my CW setup. Hit save. And then when you go to RIDI, you can set it up and save it as my RTTY setup. And you can do that with each mode. So, even the memory banks, you can set it up that way. So it gives you a quick setup for different modes, eliminating the need to remember things once you have something set up perfectly. So something in mind. So I'm just going to go back. I have a couple of settings already saved that I've been playing with. Here we go. I have to admit, I'm quite impressed with this 7300. Definitely nice, small, compact base station. You can go portable if you want. But if you do a lot of base station operation and a lot of mobile, well, you can always consider a second unit. Either one of the Chinese ones, provided the price right, depending on the prices, or if it's in your budget, the 705. Then you can use your iPad for SDR control, or your iPhone, because the radio has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. something to keep in mind depending on what your needs are. At this very moment, I'm not doing mobile work, but if I had to, for example, later on, that's probably the approach I would take. But I'm going to show a feature that I like. Here's all the capabilities of this program: FTB, FT8, PSK, RIDI, HFFax, CW encoder. I kind of started playing with it. You have to kind of adjust it for noise and things of the sort. Logbook. The DX cluster POTA is really nice because it tells me who's on. And I go on the other bands, and all sorts of call signs listed as to where they're active, what frequency. So it's great if you're looking for someone. And a whole bunch of other adjustments you can do. But the one I'm going to demonstrate is called memories. These are the memories that are programmed. You can go in, make the changes within here, say OK, hit refresh. With 33 memories, no big deal. I had to reorganize it, but let's say I wanted to add a whole bunch of repeaters, 6 meter, 10 meter repeaters in here and push this all the way down. So you gotta go manually re-enter it one by one, either on the ICOM 7300 or here. It can be done, but much easier. I just export. Hit save, replace, OK. And then I will go to my program. Let me just show you in the form. Okay, these are the parameters that particular system saves. Okay, I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to import.
Completed import ICOM IC 7300.
Okay, I already imported here, but as you can see, it does lists. And I could, running a script, reorganize this and then export it. Right there.
Completed export ICOM IC 7300.
And then I can import it. And I happen to be the owner of FileMaker. I've been using it for 20 years. Different versions of it. All my business, accounting, everything was all done on this. And I use it for my hobbies, like ham radio. So, thought I'd show you this, because entering memories can be a hassle. Especially when you're first starting off, and over a period of a year or so, you have a better idea, and then one day you say, I want to reorganize all this. And plus, there's 3 groups you can create. If you notice, stars 1, stars 2, 3. So I can break down my 99 memories into 3 sections. I have, for example, Section 2 for the AM broadcast stations that I can hear locally. Okay, they're right here. Those are all the ones I can hear locally, or I should put it this way, assigned in my area. Unfortunately, I can't hear Edmonton, but in the Calgary I can. Adrie, maybe even High River, depending where I am. So they're there, and these are the same frequencies. On my VHF, UHF, I have FM instead of AM. That's the only difference. So it's handy. And I've set it up so that when a change is made that's not standard, for example, the default is 88.5, When a particular repeater requires a different squelched frequency, it will turn the black into a red. So this way, if I want to edit or make changes, let's say I need to change the tone frequencies, I enter it wrong or whatever, it helps me to identify where it is so that when I export it and then import it, I didn't miss it. So all the important information just sticks out. So anything that's different from the default, it will stick out. So that's how I design it, to minimize programming errors or inputting wrong parameters into the radio. Okay, let me show you on the radio itself, view of SDR control. Impressive. I can control the volume. I can control the mode to switch, or even the band, or the switch over. RF, noise banker, and of course you have a screen here. In the tools, DX cluster. I just got it set up just for a few local stations. But there you go. It tells me who's on 50 meters. 6 meters, excuse me. Not 50 megahertz. And you have even that one. You have, for example, a logbook. You have the CW decoder. Ready. PSK. I haven't tested most of these features. It's playing with it a little bit, getting to know it. I haven't even looked at the instructions or manuals. And of course, this is the important part for me, the memory. Refresh. I can make changes right here. And I can also import or export. So this is a quick rundown. Okay, what I'm going to show you next is the Wi-Fi view. Okay. This is the WF view. Again, you have control of the frequency, different modes. You can save the settings, and there's a few features it's missing. You can change your waterfall. Turn things off, so forth. It's free. It works. That's all you want. Yeah. For me, if it had the memory for settings, radio access, you can also remote control this, which is great with the 7300. Frequency, I guess, is a big supersized keypad. I kind of find that funny. Don't need that big of a keypad, do we? Likewise with the band. Maybe it could have add some little bit of color or something. It's cosmetic. Okay, and there you go. So that's a quick view of it. Okay, this is a chart that I made not too long ago. And it helps me in setting up physically the antenna and zeroing in very quick. Because when you know the dimensions of each band, the beginning of the band, the end of the band, and from there you know how many inches you have to make adjustments with. And then you can fine tune it with your SWR meter. Of course, it becomes a problem if you're not in a good environment. If you have a lot of metal objects nearby, or you have a poor ground plane, yeah, it'll be a little bit more of a challenge. But at least you know if it works dead on, very close to those dimensions, then you probably is a good sign telling you your setup is reasonably okay. Like all touch screens, they get greasy after a while. I find use a touch pencil or stick. If you don't have that and you have fingernails, use the fingernails. It works. And let me know if you want further information on this. Otherwise, we could just move on to our next subject, which will be the coming weekend. We're going to go camping, and hopefully we'll have a video based on that. Have a nice day, and please subscribe.